Hey guys, it's Minette again. I'm here with another tutorial for Great Impressions rubber stamps, and today I'm going to teach you this fun technique down here. It's called Watercolor Emboss Resist. I'm sure some of you have done some form of emboss resist before, but this one's using a watercolor pen. You could also use just plain water and a paintbrush and some ink if you have that. The image that I'm going to be using down here is number H140, called Pumpkins in a Row. And then this wonderful sentiment that I've used is C384, Abundant Blessings. I've also used these great enamel dots by My Mind's Eye that we sell in the store as well. So pop on over there, grab these if you haven't, and let's get started. So what you're going to need is a piece of paper and your image that you want to emboss. And you're going to take your Versamark ink and ink up your image really, really well. And sometimes it helps if you turn it over. And you're going to stamp it on your paper where you want it to go. Make sure you just apply even pressure. Don't wiggle it back and forth or jostle it because you're going to get some weird lines. And then just pick it right up. I've got something right there. Okay, so then what I usually do is I use white embossing powder instead of clear, because that way I know that my image is going to look as white as my paper. So I'm just going to sprinkle this all over my image, and then I'm going to dump it out into a little embossing buddy tray and tap it off. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but you can see the texture of it before I even emboss it. I'm going to emboss this real quick and I will be right back. Okay, I am back with my embossed image. I'm not sure if you can see that really well, maybe a little bit. So once you get to this point, this is the fun part. You're going to take your watercolor pen and whatever color inks you want. And I'm actually going to start with green. I'm going to do the grass and the leaves and the stems. And you're just going to take your ink, squeeze your watercolor pen a little bit to get some water out, and pick up some of that ink out of there. Woo, too much water. Oops, that's okay. I'll just use it over here. And then you're just going to watercolor wherever you want it to go. And it's so cool because as you go along, your lines that you embossed, they act as like a little bit of a shield. Do you see how cool that looks? And so you just keep going with every color, okay? And the funnest thing about the watercolor effect is that when it dries, the inkiness that it leaves. So I've got my leaves. I'm going to do a little bit of these little things up here. It's fun to color around the image if it's just a line image, because then it kind of shows the little swirly or whatever you were wanting to do. Okay, so I've got my green done, and then I would go on to other colors. I'm going to finish watercoloring this, and after each step I will show you it. So next I'm going to do the pumpkins, and when I'm done with that I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like after I did my pumpkins. I tried to kind of start in the same places and fade the color out as I went. I really like the mottled look that it gives it. I think this pumpkin needs a little bit more shading, so I can go in with more ink and less water and just kind of add whatever kind of shading I want. If you're doing this with a brush and pen, just know wherever you do less water and more pigment is going to end up being darker. And that's how you create your shadows. So I'm going to finish up with the stems being brown in the sky, and I'll be back to show you that. Alright, so here's my finished panel. And like I said, if you go outside the lines, it kind of gives a little bit of a, here's the stem type of a feel, or here's the pumpkin kind of a feel. And I think that it ends up making this look like a really nice little autumn scene. So let me show you one more time. Here's my finished product. I just added my panel, added a little bit of bling and a sentiment, and that was all I needed, because this beautiful technique can stand on its own. I hope that you take a chance to try this week, or maybe in the weeks to come. I hope that you use it for more than just autumn projects. You can use it all year round. And until next time, happy stamping, friends!